Martha just made 60K in 30 days tutoring online without relying on referrals, posting on Facebook, and without burnout. All she did was use a very simple strategy, and I'm going to show you exactly what that was so that by the end of this video, you have a solid idea of exactly what we did and how you can model it yourself as well. Here are the two most impactful things that allow her to get to 60K. First is organic content. And if you're not posting any organic content on social media, why? It's completely free and it's gonna boost everything else that you're doing, ads, outreach, even referrals. Second thing is if you're running ads, and let's say you've been running ads for about 4 months and your ROAS is below 5, you need new creatives. You need to test. That's exactly what we did with Martha. Tested 30 plus different creatives. You need to test more stuff out. Now, if you want the exact same system built out fully for you, exactly like we did with Martha, you can also click the link below this video and book a call with me.
Now, let me be clear, this really wasn't about working more hours. It was mainly just about thinking like a business owner, right? Because the reality is, if you want to get to 60K plus per month, you need a repeatable system that's going to get you there and that you can trust in, right? So what actually happened? Well, before she started working with us, she was pretty much stuck at 15K per month. Now, why was she stuck there? It was mainly because she spent way too much to get a student, and that was because her lead costs were too high. She didn't really have any social media presence and lead nurturing, meaning that the expensive leads that did come in didn't know enough about her, what she can offer and how she's different to actually want to convert. And part of that was also because her offer was generic. And anytime you have a generic offer and you're comparable to everyone else, people will often just choose the cheapest option. She was also doing everything herself, which just led her to be overworked and frustrated because, again, her costs were through the roof and she didn't have any clear path to actually get to that 20 and 30K per month. And the only way she could have done that is by spending an absurd amount on ads, and that's just not the best way to get there. So here's exactly what we did to get her to that 60K per month, 58 if we're being precise. So the first thing we did was we made sure that we're actually targeting the exam that's in demand. In this case, that was the UK GCSEs. And that exam is well known for being very hard. Many students fear it. Many parents know that there is a high likelihood that their student might fail it, whether that's math, English, or whatever subject, right? So we made sure to go after that. We also want to make sure that we're adding a guarantee to her service. Why? Because like I've said many times, nobody really wants tutoring. People want to buy the 7 or 9 or 8 on GCSE maths or science or English, right? Because they want to get to that result. They want to go to a good school, whatever it is. So why not just give people exactly what they want? Another thing that we did, this is kind of a trick. We basically used fake price increases. So what we did with her, we increased the price by like 60%. And then we discounted it to bring it back to the original. And then every time someone got the discounted price, which was really the original price we started with, they felt like they were getting a steal, they were getting a good offer. Now, all of this, targeting an exam that's actually in demand and having a guarantee, as well as a fake discount, basically allowed her to get way cheaper advertising costs and a way higher closing rate, and just boosted everything across the board. Second, now before even launching the ads, we made sure that all of the automations actually connect with the parent. We made sure to add nurturing workflows so that each and every lead that does come in knows exactly what the offer is, knows exactly why Martha in this case is different to every other tutoring company out there, and why they should go with her and not someone who's a lot cheaper. Now, all of this type of stuff basically just meant that we're gonna get more bookings, we got a cheaper cost per call, and a way bigger ROAS because the closing rate was also better. There's a massive difference if someone shows up to your call, they don't even know what they've shown up to, versus if they watched like 3 hours of your content minimum, they know exactly what you're offering, they know why you're different, and they know that this is a premium service, and they're basically almost expecting a higher price point. So once we got all the systems dialed in and the offer, it's now time to get some attention, get some leads, right? So how exactly we're able to get £5 leads, £3 leads as well. So what we did is basically tested a lot of creatives. We literally tested 30 plus different creatives for her, because no matter what is in each creative, if you test 30 variations of it, one of them is going to perform a lot better, And that's ultimately how you get £3 leads and even cheaper. With her, we were able to get as low as £2 leads. And another thing that massively helped here was her guarantee. Again, if you offer people exactly what they want to buy, your whole acquisition system will get a boost from the cost per lead to the cost per call to the cost per acquisition and even the closing rate. Everything's gonna get a massive boost. But other than that, the creatives were very simple, whether it was static creatives or video creatives, basically made sure that it needed to have three things. First, it needed to have a market call out. Second, it needed to have the offer. And third, it needed to have a clear explanation of everything we do and why we're able to promise such a high result, right? So market call out is parents of kids who are going to be taking the GCSEs. Second, the offer, you're going to get a 7 to a 9 on the GCSEs guaranteed or get your money back. Lastly, how can we promise such a good result? Well, this is exactly how we do it and why we're different to anyone else and why our guarantees are legit. And then what we also did was organic content, right? So her strategy to basically get millions of views, as you can see, 100,000, 60,000, 100,000, 130,000, like literally millions of views across her social media, is a very simple 3-step funnel. First, we got the reaction videos, and these are most of these that you see on screen. Now, the reaction videos are mostly top of funnel to get you attention as soon as possible and to bring in new eyeballs. Then we had teaching videos, which was middle of funnel, which is this one with like a whiteboard in the back and her basically solving a problem. And lastly, talking head videos where you go more in detail on exactly what a child needs to pass the GCSEs, which was bottom of funnel, and they also had a CTA. And the process was also very simple. First, you need an idea, you need to script out that idea, you record it, edit it, and then upload. One key thing I want you to take from this is I want you to give as much value as possible. Basically, just give them free advice on all of your social media. Solve math problems on it, solve English problems on it, whatever subjects you're teaching, just give them answers for exactly what they're looking for. And you're gonna get views, you're gonna get engagement, and you're gonna get a lot of clients. Also, the organic content made a massive boost to our ads as well, just because when someone looked her up, they saw that her profile looks legit, they saw that her business is legit, they saw she's got testimonials on there, they trusted her a lot more, basically leading to, again, cheaper cost per leads, cheaper cost per calls, and a way better closing rate. Now, on the appointment and deal flow, we did something interesting. We actually started qualifying people less. And I found with a lot of tutors that are established, that are doing around 10K per month, they tend to disqualify people way too fast and way too much. We actually just started closing bad leads, not just good ones. Let me explain. She was throwing out people like way too soon. Like if both parents didn't want to show up to the call with the child as well, she would throw that lead out. If they didn't confirm the call within the first hour, she'd throw that lead out. Now, well, if you are tight on time and you're doing the closing yourself, I can see that as an argument. However, if you have enough time, I would urge everyone to take the bad leads, take the bad calls as well. That's exactly what we did with her, which basically led her to collect a lot more money. She was able to collect 2,500. This was sent on a Wednesday, by the way. So in 3 days, she basically collected 3K, 23 sales in a week. So even if you are an established tutor, and definitely if you are starting out, do take the bad leads, at least in the beginning. Go through all of them and then only start disqualifying people that never ever close. After you disqualify those people, you can then go look at what the closing percentage is based on lead quality, but be very careful when you're disqualifying leads, because this made a massive difference with her. She was literally throwing out half of her leads, and we basically just looked at the whole system, made sure that the closing was on point and the setting was on point. So once we improved the closing and the setting, we were able to keep the exact same closing rate and booking rate while accepting all of the leads, which basically meant double the calls, double the clients. Be very careful when you're disqualifying people. Now, basically all of this led her to become the authority in the GCSE niche. She basically became a mini celebrity on social media. I think she's got like 10K followers on TikTok and a couple of thousand on Instagram. She had a proven nurturing system. She had a massively cheaper cost per lead, cost per call, and cost per acquisition. She had tested a lot of different creatives. We knew exactly what worked and what didn't. So her whole funnel was proven over a couple of months. Her sales process was improved. Now, ultimately, all of this led to her having more control over her time and finances, being confident in her business, and having a predictable flow of students and a predictable path forward, right? A predictable path to what 80K per month would look like, what 100K per month would look like. And the reason why all this works so well, especially in 2025, is because no parent is gonna invest in something that might get them results but might not. Everyone wants a guaranteed result, or at least as close as you can get to guaranteed, because that's what they truly desire, and that's the only thing they're willing to spend money on these days. Online education has matured a lot, and tutors that have a system like this are taking over the whole market. You can no longer compete with Facebook posting and referrals because it's out of your control and it's way too one-to-one. This whole thing runs completely without her, meaning all she needs to do to get to 80K per month is spend 20% more on the ads. Hopefully by this point you see how much superior this whole thing is, which literally runs without her and allows her to see exactly what 100K per month would look like if she's decided to go that far. So if you want us to build out this complete strategy, exactly the same as we did with Marta, just click the link below this video and schedule to book a call with me.